is waiting on fries. That you don't get it? You don't. What do you mean you don't get waiting on fries?
Hopefully the customer never hears waiting on fries, but all this time on the entree and it's perfectly executed and then you're
It's
like,
ready to
fuck,
go.
I forgot to fire the fries.
I just always use that when I forgot to put somebody's order in, and I was like, hey, I'm just waiting on the fries. It's gonna be 2 more minutes. Realistically, I come back 10 minutes with the food.
Exactly. They just know that their food's not there and the server said they're still waiting on fries.
I guess we're just waiting on fries. I think it's safe to say that this is kind of, it's partial Thanksgiving episode.
Not even partial, it's full on Thanksgiving episode.
No, it's partial.
I mean,
So what part isn't about Thanksgiving?
Well, we'll see each other again before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
we will, but this is the thing. Everyone has to be prepped right now for Thanksgiving because it's around the corner. And if you're not even thinking about it, if you're not even like...
If you're not thinking about it by now, it's way too late.
It's probably way too late, but they could potentially be in a good spot if they really ramp it up.
Already, if you're not thinking about it. You should be thinking about Christmas.
Correct, but on the last minute pressure time for guys maybe that haven't set things up, like let's just kind of quickly talk about Thanksgiving. And
I mean, it's going to be summer soon.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. They understand what you're saying also.
Justin, you have your St. Patrick's Day specials lined up already?
So let's just cover it. Just tell me first off what Smokehouse is doing for Thanksgiving.
We're taking a day off.
Okay. What are you doing in preparation for Thanksgiving sales?
Sorry.
This guy cracks himself up.
I mean, it was too easy. I had to just
That was good.
I had to just answer that way.
I know.
So what we did actually is do some prep work for everybody, and we're offering a Thanksgiving turkey package. So we're smoking some turkeys, we're doing some sides, we're offering some cornbread, a little bit of help to get people out of the kitchen. We thought we actually have never done it before, but we thought this is a good year to capitalize on that with potentially smaller gatherings. You might see some people not want to go through the trouble that they usually go through if they have 20 plus people at their home. They might not want to cook, etc. So if we can just, provide, everything we're providing is good for about
10 or less.
I don't know if Cuomo was listening, 8 to 9 people.
There you go.
But you
It's
might have
leftovers.
some leftovers.
Leftovers.
So we put that package together, and that's what you do. So you get a turkey, a couple sides,
So
pick
you're
it
gonna
up
give
on
people
Wednesday.
a full smoked turkey?
Full smoked turkey.
Already carved or no?
We actually have it. We're doing breasts and full turkeys. So if you prefer just the white meat, you don't want the whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll do a smoked breast for you. That we're gonna do sliced. The full turkey, we're just gonna give you the whole turkey. So you still gotta carve it.
Yeah. Are you stuffing them too?
Yeah, we're gonna do the whole thing. Stuff it.
Beautiful.
The right way. So
How do you guys make your stuffing?
$110? Can't even beat it. With all the sides and everything.
How many choices of side do you get?
You get 3: it's mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, pork and beans, a little cornbread
And
cake,
cornbread?
like you can get at the Chico's,
Yeah.
and then the turkey.
What's the price on something like this? Just wheelhouse, considering I haven't looked at
Cost or
suggestive
price?
prices about anything.
He just said 110.
Yeah,
110?
like our price. Yeah.
Okay. And that feeds 8 to 9 people.
Yes, it's above the
With
14
leftovers.
pound bird. So whatever you get out of that.
When you come into a restaurant and you have 8 to 9 people sitting at any single table at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, or whatever point in the day that they're sitting at the table, what's that bill come out to typically? $400? When you talk about all the meals?
If you have 8 to 9 people, it should be
like-
around $400 to $600.
$110 for feeding 8 to 9 with all these sides sounds like a fantastic deal.
With leftovers.
With leftovers.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. 6 people, but with the leftovers.
I mean, you're not including
8 to
any
9.
cocktails or bourbons or something like that, which would eventually get that price up.
Are you
there.
going to sell any large scale cocktails to go with this?
I mean, we're still doing the pints in the court, so we don't have anything planned extra as cocktail wise.
Tell me how long ahead of Thanksgiving you started taking pre-orders for these turkeys.
About 2 weeks ago, so we're 3 weeks.
November
3 weeks.
1st-ish
yeah,
area?
right as soon as we hit November, we started doing it.
All right, so you give yourself 25 days to get prep, get momentum going on this thing, getting the promotion out there, that way people see it. How many are you actually cooking? Like, how many people can order this before you've decided it's too much to handle and we're sacrificing the restaurant?
We're capping it at 10.
Okay.
So we're
10
not going
turkeys.
crazy.
Yeah,
We're just
okay.
like, we got 10 birds. That's what we're cooking. That's what we can handle. Because Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be open. We're going to be closed for Thanksgiving. But Tuesday and Wednesday are busier days traditionally. We're not going to get the Thanksgiving Eve push that we usually.
I wonder what that's going to look like this year. I'm super curious.
But you'll still get dinner. You'll still get
Yeah.
people, ordering out or whatever. So we can't fill our smoker with 10 turkeys and be able to keep up with the rest of the day. So we'll do that.
Because they are smoked. It's the smokehouse. It's not just we're putting it in the
Right.
oven and we're throwing it out at you. This is something that people are coming. I feel like I would pay like $150 for this turkey if it was a smoked turkey like that. You're a good guy, man. You really do give people deals sometimes.
It's what you gotta give them what they need.
It's Thanksgiving.
So
It's Thanksgiving.
the benefits of the pre-order though
Giving.
are that you're filling in the sales that you wouldn't have on the day that you're closed.
I mean, you're definitely not gonna fill a day's sales, especially we're capping it at 10.
Especially
10
not
turkeys.
at $110 a turkey.
It's
sir.
$10 turkey, but it's a little bit extra, and
You're able to do something nice for some
Yeah.
people who might appreciate it.
and it slightly becomes a little bit of a marketing cost because
Exactly.
if the 8 to 9 people max that people have at their homes on Thanksgiving say, hey, where did you get this turkey? It's it's good, whatever. They tell them about Smokehouse, maybe you expose yourself or whatever. You become part of their family event or something like that. It lends yourself a little.
And
Familiarity.
most places aren't open on Thanksgiving anyway. So if they're gonna pick this up, it does happen on Thanksgiving though.
No, we're smoking them on Tuesday, cooling them. Everybody's got to pick up their stuff on Wednesday. We are not coming in on Thanksgiving.
So you essentially
At all.
stamp them with a cute little put this in the oven for
Yeah,
20
Mike,
minutes.
Yeah,
or
Mike
whatever.
wrote up the whole prep, how to prep it and all that stuff. So
That's a win. And then people get talking around the table. Only 6 of them max, I think, at this moment. And they get talking about where the turkey came from, and they go, "Oh man, those guys smoke that stuff. I gotta check this place out. I've never seen it before."
you can spend 45 minutes putting together a Thanksgiving dinner instead of 6 hours. So
That sounds like a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, and nobody to have to clean anything too. Nooms, you were saying a little bit earlier too that you're gonna do something interesting this year with the turkey.
Yeah, well, so I'm doing something interesting with the turkey, but I'm also getting the turkey from, I'm getting it from a butcher shop. Happens to be my cousin's butcher shop that he just opened up in Astoria, Queens. Shout out to my cousin, his butcher shop, Prince Abu's Butchery. But he's getting his turkeys from a farm in Jersey, and he's getting them all slaughtered like 2 to 3 days before we pick them up. So it's going to be a completely fresh, never frozen turkey, and I'm excited for that because I believe every turkey that I've had thus far has to come in frozen from a grocery store or something like that.
Sure, I mean they're putting out so many turkeys. You have to go somewhere straight to the source if you're gonna wind up getting a fresh turkey. I feel like I guess then
I will interject. Our turkeys are fresh, confirmed.
Mike just confirmed?
Yes.
Well, that's cool.
So
Where did he confirm where you got them? Are you getting them from like Fossil Farms or something like that?
It's coming from New York Prime.
Okay.
I'm not sure of the farm.
Yeah. Okay.
and now in doing this, what's the difference really? You don't
So-
have to thaw it out like most people
I mean,
do.
obviously, I'm never gonna have to thaw it out because it's not gonna be frozen. But I'm assuming that it'll probably be a fresher tasting, cleaner, juicier bird.
Okay, I'm
Hopeful,
yeah.
You would
and-
assume something that was slaughtered days before you cook it will taste a little bit better than something that was potentially slaughtered and frozen months ago and just been sitting there waiting for someone to cook it.
Sure, that makes sense. I go to the grocery store every single day and I buy things that day. I never throw anything in my freezer. My freezer's empty. It's got ice cubes in it.
That's weird. My
Right.
freezer is full always.
I don't know what you put in it. I don't know what to put in
Usually
the freezer.
meat, so I can pull something out and be
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna cook this for dinner.
Oh, I just go that day.
Any type of food.
That's like wasteful.
On what?
Gas, at the very least.
No, I'd rather have the meat right there thawed out already. I don't have to do anything. I grab it. I
Jay,
marinate
you
it,
can't
I
argue
cook
that
it.
you're not wasting gas if you drive to the grocery store every day of the
Yeah,
week.
I'm not
as
worried.
opposed to
I'm not
one
worried
day
about
a
the
week.
grocery store trip. It's like 3 blocks away. It's all right. I'll waste that gas.
You're wasting energy as well.
Also, I then go all the time and I just get my vegetables, and that's it. I don't,
Still do that
I don't
once
keep
or
shit in the
twice a
fridge,
week.
man. I don't
Why
keep
do you
things
even
in the
have a
fridge.
fridge?
Yeah.
Well, because the milk goes bad if you don't
milk.
put it in the fridge.
Well, so then why don't you just downsize, get a fridge without a freezer?
Yeah, like
You know,
one of
it'd
those
probably save me a lot in
little
electricity. I think.
hotel fridges.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes down to it, though, and Nooms, you yelled at me last week about my knives. You know, my
I didn't
lady,
yell. I was just trying to help you.
my lady got me this beautiful magnetic knife.
And I definitely
holder
wasn't even talking shit.
that I
was
put
just
it
like,
onto
that's
the
cool.
wall. No, follow me here. That I put onto the wall, and I waited until I had a beautiful wall to put it on. Now we have the beautiful wall to put it on. I hung this thing up, and I took a picture, and Nooms goes, "I'm concerned." And I'm like, "What, man? It's pretty sturdy. It's not going to fall off." And he goes, "No, the quality of your knives."
And I was saying that as a friend, like we could talk about getting you some nice knives.
Understandable. Now, 2 years ago when I cooked the turkey, I was like, I gotta get a carving knife. I gotta get something sharp. And
Did you get one of those? Did you get one of those like
again.
battery operated electric carvers off of Amazon?
No, man. What do I look like, Al Bundy?
Ooh, fancy.
You were thinking about it though.
So
Gas powered.
So I pick up off Amazon a little carving knife. Thing's sharp. It did the job for me. And Nooms just laughed at me again and said, you don't need that knife. You just need a knife. So talk to me about carving. Enlighten us.
I don't think you need a specific carving knife. I mean, you just need a good knife that you're comfortable with, a sharp knife. A longer blade would be preferable, I guess, for this situation. But no, I mean, I don't think you need to buy a specific carving knife. And when I'm carving a turkey, usually, if I've got the whole turkey sitting in front of me, breast up, obviously, we'll take off the wings, then we'll take off the legs.
I love he said obviously. We don't know these things. I don't know these things.
Well,
you
that's
know
why I
these
said
things.
it. That's why I said it. So breast up, we remove the wings, we remove the legs, so then you have those pieces sitting there.
You take the wings out first.
You would naturally know to put the breast up.
Yeah, it would be
Like,
weird
no
if you
one
didn't,
would have
because
to
it would
tell
just
you.
be like rolling
Yeah,
around.
okay. Fair enough. Anyway, so you take the wings off first.
Yep. So then you take off the legs.
Wait, you just took this thing out of the oven, super hot? You let it sit at all, or what?
So yeah, if you're
Give
pulling
me
it
the
out of the oven,
process. I don't know anything. I'm a dumb guy.
Nooms doesn't have any feelings in his hands.
and you just pulled it out of the oven, put it on the counter, pick the turkey up. No, you pull it out of the oven, you let it rest for a little while. The amount of time you let it rest for will depend on how long you cooked it for. But you let it rest covered, somewhere warm, so it doesn't get too cold. Pull it off of there, put it onto a cutting board. Remove the wings, remove the legs. The legs you can separate then from the drumstick to the thigh portion. So now we have 4 pieces plus the wings, so we're up to 6 pieces. Then you have that large piece, which is like the breast and the back. From there, I think, probably cut the 2 breasts in half and then slide underneath the breast to remove it from the rib cage carcass sort of thing. So then you have the 2 breasts removed from the carcass, and you can leave the carcass there.
You're not carving the breast in slices
Not while it's
on
attached,
there.
no.
You take it out.
Yeah.
See, growing up as a kid, my grandfather was always the guy slicing the turkey up or carving the turkey. He always wound up just carving it right in there. He took forever. I slid over, grabbed a handful of pieces.
It was like not the nicest pieces because you got to think if you're going to cut it while it's still in the carcass, you don't have a flat area to put your knife down each time. It's going to go into that hole where the ribs are.
Yeah,
you know?
okay. No,
So
you're
remove-
making sense.
Remove the breast, lay it down on a cutting board so you have a flat place and slice into
So you need a sharp knife though, is what you need.
For sure you need a
right?
sharp
It doesn't have to be a carving knife. You're
No.
saying it could be any knife, really.
The knife I told you about, this is going to sound like a plug for Meeson, but Meeson makes a $65 chef's knife. It's a beautiful knife.
Okay, $65, chef knife, cool. That should be maybe an average price in what you're paying for a
Yeah.
decent knife, you would think, because prices in relation sometimes.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, my coworkers used to always shit on me for that knife, but I liked it. If you want something a little bit more fancy and flashy, you can go to corn.com. They have a whole bunch of knives and whetstones and ceramic steel sharpeners.
He's
that I
getting
showed you
paid.
about.
He's getting paid on the side. We got to
Corn and Meeson, they're both sending me a check.
All right,
Promo
take the
code
meat.
Nooms.
Take the meat, and that's the biggest, I think, concern and thing that maybe guys don't know about. Then is take that breast off the bone
I think it would
fully
help if you
before
take it
you
off the
really
bone.
start just cutting it up.
Yeah.
See, look, all of a sudden I just got
Gems.
better. I just got better at doing something. Next time I cut the turkey, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, Nooms told me I need a sharp knife, and I also gotta take this thing off the bone."
There you go.
And then, so once you carve this thing out, how do you keep it warm without it getting dried out? You put it back in the oven, just put a top on it, or you just serving it out room temperature turkey?
You should be carving it when you're serving it.
Yeah.
Oh, at that moment specifically.
Yeah.
Well, the carving process always took so goddamn long.
Because you
that
don't
the
know what you're
turkey-
doing.
Most likely because you had a dull knife.
All right, so other guys with dull knives that don't know what they're doing, is there a way to keep that turkey warm as they're like carving it out?
Don't carve it until you're going to serve it.
Yeah.
I fucking hate you.
Is there
Tell
a
me
way to
about-
keep it warm? I mean, unless
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
some fancy, expensive heating lamps in your kitchen, probably not.
Yeah, once you carve it, it's going to
It's
dry
going to
out.
cool off and dry out, yeah.
All right, and I don't want to argue about this right now.
I mean,
You know,
I
there's
guess
better arguments.
you could baste it, if you wanted to, and
I
like
guess. And I mean, also you could have a sterno and a rack set up with some things
yeah.
there so you could put it into a hot tray, I guess. But it's still going to dry out eventually.
Okay.
Typically, if I'm carving a turkey, it's because everybody's at the table and we're about to eat.
yeah, we're about to eat.
Yeah, I was gonna say all I want is like 15 minutes of like light warmth. I'm not asking to recook the turkey once it's carved.
Usually,
But-
we make everybody sit down.
Yeah.
and then
you start carving.
slice the curd.
Let's put our argument to somewhere.
It's not
far
an
better.
argument. It's
no,
not an argument.
let's talk about the stuffing though, because that's another pinnacle.
That
point
is
of
an
things.
argument.
That is for sure an
That's
argument.
an argument.
Are you doing your stuffing with sausage? Are you doing your stuffing all fluffy and everything loose, nothing held together? Like, what are
so-
these beliefs?
So there's my mother always made traditional bread stuffing, and I thought that was all that ever existed.
Exactly. And
Until
then
I
you grow
started,
up.
yeah,
Yep.
and you grow up, and people started giving me other things, and I'm like,
You're like, what is this
What
nonsense?
is this? Why are you putting this in my turkey?
So yeah, I mean,
So apparently this is like a sausage stuffing. It's all like meat and stuff like that.
That's very Italian.
Time out. So then how did you feel about the stuffing that we used at Smokehouse when I was there? The sausage and cornbread stuffing.
Okay, I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it
All right.
because it had a good ratio of the bread to the meat.
yeah.
You know, but I've had these sausage stuffings that
Where it just like crumbles and
it's
falls
just
off your
sausage.
fork.
Yeah, it's just meat and seasoning. I'm like, it's not stuffing. It's
My
just-
mom makes a stuffing very similar to that. She'll do like turkey sausage and like peas and whatnot. It's very loose. It's tasty if that's what you grew up eating.
Right.
But then I grew up and I had other stuffings. I'm like, I don't need to.
With the argument of like the sausage and the stuffing, I mean, it's such a gluttonous holiday as it is. Like, I don't feel like I need the sausage to be inside the stuffing. I'm fine with no sausage in the stuffing.
You definitely need some kind of meat.
But I think that it should be bulky bread at the end of the day. And I think that helps things out because that loose just takes up so much spot on the plate, and I need more space on my plate for all the other things I'm about to put on.
So you're saying you prefer a stuffing with no meat in it? So it's just like bread?
Yeah, just like the bread, some veggie
That's
stuff.
not what you
I
were
don't need
talking
the
about,
meat.
right?
Just reverse. Just reverse for a second because now I'm getting confused.
Me too.
I don't need meat in my stuffing. That's all I'm saying.
So your stuffing should just be bread. Yours is no meat too?
Yeah, the traditional bread stuffing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's like celery, it's carrots.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I guess onions chopped up in there and too.
All right. I've never had that. I disagree a little bit. I think it should have bread and meat.
And see, this is the argument.
But
You
that's
think-
why I liked the one we made at Smokehouse. It was like a hybrid.
Yes. Yeah.
But if you're gonna ask me my preference,
It's just bread?
the bread stuffing all the way.
Never had that.
I'm with the bread stuffing, and I'm with the compressed bread, not like the super airy bread. That's not what we
Yeah.
want. Here's your next argument that you have at the table. And honestly, nobody's going to have this argument at the table because you're happy to be somewhere around people.
I know where you're gonna go. Well, before you do that, there's a little mini one before that, and it's with the mashed potatoes. Okay, and we do mashed potatoes with gravy, or do we do sweet potato mash with the marshmallows?
Yeah. And we don't have either or in my families. We do both, and it's optional.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, I actually hated sweet potatoes with marshmallows. Couldn't stand it. Right? Yeah. But recently, I'm all about it. It's all I want.
That's the only way I'll eat
We
them.
grew up with the sweet potatoes with the marshmallows.
That's the only way I'll eat them. They got to have the marshmallows on the sweet potato,
It's
or
got
I'm not
nice
touching
and
it.
lightly toasted brown and just
Correct.
perfect.
Yeah,
Yep.
perfect.
You know, that's an argument in itself. And here's the real thing that we need to nail down here. The cranberry sauce.
Cranberry sauce out of a can, always.
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 I'm with that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. He
I
just
didn't.
did.
I made for a boring segment.
He did a hard head shake. Nooms, when you make cranberry sauce, and I've done it
So
myself.
I don't make cranberry sauce because you don't need to. You can just go buy a can for 69 cents. But if you wanted to be extra and make cranberry sauce, yes, it's possible.
So-
no, it won't be as good.
No, we know that it's possible. What do you put in cranberry sauce if you're going to make it? Because the stuff in the can is clear and transparent. You could kind of like see through it a little bit when you slice it.
Yeah.
There's no anything.
So if I had to guess and try to figure out how that was made, I think I would start by dissolving sugar in water.
Well, don't guess how the can one's made. How do you make cranberry sauce, period?
Well, so let me finish because I think you can take a homemade cranberry sauce and do some stuff to it to make it look like the canned stuff. But so I would dissolve sugar in water, add your cranberries, cook them till they're like ready to pop open. Add whatever seasonings you're gonna add to it. So if you want to be extra, you can add like nutmeg and allspice and all sorts of other nonsense. But if you just want to be straight up, I would just do cranberries, sugar, water, maybe a little bit of orange zest. And then if you puree it and make it real smooth and strain it, I think you could probably then pour it into a can, let it sit in your fridge and harden up, and you'd have something similar.
Enough of all that cranberry sauce shit. I don't want to talk about any more Thanksgiving stuff. There's way more important things that we could be talking about.
There's
Nooms.
100% better foods we could be talking about right now instead of cranberry sauce.
Culturally, like, forget it. We do this every November. You know, we do all the founding father staples of all these turkeys and the stuffings and the cranberry sauce that you just gave us recipes on here. Let's go somewhere way further. How far are we going?
Let's take it down south a little bit.
How south?
Peru, maybe?
Peru.
Yeah, that's pretty far out there.
I know nothing about Peruvian food. I know nothing about Peruvian dishes, culture.
Well, that's fine because today we have somebody here who can tell you all about Peruvian food and all about what makes it so wonderful.
Is his name Fabian? Is his name Chef Fabian Marquez?
I think it is.
Does he run the Lat-u-si food truck that you
he
see
does,
cruising
indeed.
around?
That makes him so special for running that wonderful
You
food
guys are
truck.
such toolbags.
Fabian's in the building with us today, and he's going to tell us all about what it's like to start a food truck, all those hardships and crazy things that you got to figure out, Peruvian food and special dishes, because he's really boasting out there that he might have the best lomo in all of this area, right?
I believe it.
Talk to me.
Fingers crossed.
Tell me about the lomo first off before we go anywhere.
All right, so lomo saltado is a beef stir fry with onions and tomatoes.
It's a beef stir fry with onions and tomatoes. I'm slow.
There's
We
a little
got
soy sauce in there, and it's traditionally served with French fries and white rice. But I took it somewhere else. Now, since we're a food truck, I said let's just do loaded fries. I have both options, but that's where I come in, and I invented the lomo fries with our signature sauces on top.
Your sauces are kind of special too because that's what make the pictures on Instagram pop. Because you got all these
It's
bright,
like a taste of
vibrant
the
colors.
rainbow,
Yeah,
something like that. It's just very, very colorful, very bright, vibrant, and strong flavor.
So when you're like, I did some soft research talking about the lomo here.
Yeah.
And I see that there's like two very different ways to have it served. Where it's like very, I guess, stir fried, where the rice and the fries are all tossed in with everything. Mm-hmm. And then there's another way where everything is all separated, like a child's plate, where they don't want the food to touch each other.
Yeah, that's more on the gourmet side. Like if you have like a nice high-end Peruvian restaurant, they'll have the rice, the crispy fries on the side, and then the lomo. So it's, yeah, like you said, it's separated like for a child. But it actually works out. I kind of like it that way because you can get the crispiness of the French fries, instead of putting it on top where you'll lose a little bit of the crispiness, but it's all around is great. It's really good. So.
Why French fries? Is there like a cultural reason why French fries is a staple?
Yeah, I mean, potatoes in Peru, there's like thousands of different types of potatoes in Peru. So those hand in hand together.
How do you know, are there really like thousands of varietals of potatoes?
Oh, yeah.
So how do you know which potato is which? When I go to the store, I see the red ones, I see the white ones, I see like a bag with multicolor. I like using those in the morning, when you make home fries.
Yeah,
because they look
little
all pretty.
marbled potatoes. Yeah.
Nothing gets your girl happier than when you make those home fries in the morning and smells that and then sees it all with all the beautiful colors on it. How do you differentiate what the potatoes are? Like,
I mean, all potatoes have a distinctive flavor, texture-wise. I mean, depending on what you're making, like if you're gonna make a whipped mashed potato, maybe use some Yukon Golds. They're like very fluffy,
smooth and creamy.
Yeah. So it all depends on what you're cooking and what you're making.
do you have a preference, Nooms, on potato gold?
I mean, for potato gold. For mashed potatoes, just like you said, I definitely use the Yukons. It depends on what your final outcome is going to be. Like you said, potatoes are different, so some have more moisture content than others. Some are going to be more starchy. So if you know what you're looking for in the end, it'll help you choose the right potato to
My
start
wife
with.
says russet potatoes.
For mashed
my wife
potatoes?
loves that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's choice, but,
Are russets also like the cheapest of the potato bunch? Because they sell them by the bag.
I'm not sure about the cheapest, but they're probably up there with the cheapest. Russets, people say use for, not russets, they use Idaho for French fries. We were using Idaho's, not the russets,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So, I mean, they all have
For
different
fries,
reasons.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Fabian, though, what's your go-to potato?
Idaho potatoes.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. You're okay giving that secret out. The
But
next
you guys,
Lomo truck next
you
to
guys also have those purple Peruvian potatoes, which are special.
Which are really nice.
Yeah, I enjoy those.
Are
a
those
lot.
similar to like the one that Chris uses in the hopper truck? For the-
Yeah. So Filipinos have a purple potato called an ube, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure about what the difference in characteristics are, but two different varieties of purple potatoes.
Yeah, I really don't use it that much, but whenever I can, I would.
Yeah, because you throw it in there, it
roast
just
them,
changes everything up.
Yeah.
I would imagine that those purple potatoes are far more pricey too. That's that's an export, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, you're not just getting.
You're not
that
gonna find
by
them
the
anywhere.
bag.
Yeah, you're not gonna go to any supermarket and find them.
Next thing you know, people are waiting on your food truck line and they're screaming why the prices go up $3.
Well,
Like
there you
We
go.
used,
Let
we
me
used
import
those
a
purple
potato.
potatoes in Neuro once for that the very first mixed grill we did. Remember, it was a purple potato croquette.
I don't remember it.
It definitely happened. Michael remember.
Mike, all right, maybe Mike will.
before we jump into the food truck talk and all that, you started earlier in restaurants. That's where you first started cooking kind of professionally, right?
Yes.
And you weren't. I'm Moroccan, 50%,
Okay.
to explain things where I'm going here. And as a kid, every time I would go to Morocco and I would try to get up into the kitchen, all the girls would shoo me out, giving me little whips to the bottom side to tail out of the kitchen. They don't really let guys kind of come into the kitchen. And I feel like culturally it happens a lot. I mean, even here, you can't go into the kitchen and snag up Graham's cooking while she's making shit. She kicks you out of the place.
I didn't have that problem.
You didn't? You were able to be in the kitchen?
I was allowed
Me
to hang
either.
out in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
me either.
And you were able to do that too?
I was able to with my grandmother. Yeah.
Were you able to be in the kitchen as a kid, Justin?
No, my mother had a very strict L thing.
Yeah.
She called it the L because we had like the island in there. She was
Blockade.
like, I wasn't allowed to go in the L.
He said, that's
Restricted area.
That's
it was
funny.
the only time she ever got mad. I was like, get out of my L.
Really?
All right. Sorry, Mom.
So then coming in though, then you had the sight of people cooking around you forever. You kind of saw the do's and do's nots, if you will.
Oh yes, grandma, great grandmother. They're both chefs. They've owned Peruvian restaurants. One of the actually in Mamaroneck was one of the first Peruvian restaurant in Westchester back in I don't know maybe the 80s or the 70s. I'm not even too sure exactly, but they had the first Peruvian restaurant in Westchester County. So just growing up, my grandma would always cook at home. Coming home from school, I would always come home to like a home cooked meal. So, and then on the weekends is when I would sneak into the kitchen and like snag a little. Like she would sear like big chunks of beef, and I would just run in with my finger, swipe it, lick it, just to see what it tastes like, and she would yell at me.
What are a lot of those traditional flavors that wind up going into marinating the meats?
So ají panca is a smoky Peruvian pepper that we use. Ají amarillo, which is it's a yellow aromatic pepper also.
That one's a little bit more spicy. That one's got a little bit of a bite to
The
it.
ají panca is mild. The ají amarillo is also mild. The one that's spicier is called rocoto. It's similar to a habanero. It's red. It kind of looks like an apple.
Yeah.
If you bite into that, your ass will be on fire.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I was looking up some of the top Peruvian dishes that are made, and that pepper is used to create a stuffed pepper though. And they use potatoes in there. I think I even
It's like a potato gratin that they make on the side of it.
Yep. Cumin is in there.
So that pepper, you have to boil it. It's like a process
Mm-hmm.
twice with a little sugar and vinegar. Twice, and then you basically like you're kind of like blanching it.
He's just
to
telling,
get
he's
that-
telling me the recipe. I saw.
Oh, why
Is
not?
it?
I'll let you guys know, and I'll make it for you. so
Keep
you can
going,
try it.
keep going.
And then what you do is, and then you could stuff it because it won't be as spicy because you're taking away from it a little bit, just a little bit. It's still going to be spicy, but
And funny enough, there's eggs in that also though. Isn't there?
eggs, olives, ground beef, and then you stuff it. You put cheese on top, and then you throw it under a salamander
Yes.
just to get that ooziness, like what's the soup? Like a French onion soup.
Yep.
Okay.
Sort of. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's also very similar. When I first saw the picture of this, I said that's similar to a
Like an
stuffed
Italian
pepper.
stuffed pepper?
Correct. I was looking at just over here. He's not even Italian, though. I know. I just always look at you when I want, like, the Italian input.
I mean, I grew up in an Italian neighborhood. Maybe it
Yeah,
rubbed
you know
off.
some things.
He knows
but
some things.
it's very similar to the stuffed pepper, and
Yeah.
that has so many variations as it is, too. Are there as many variations in your version? What is it, the ricotta?
Yeah, rocoto.
I can't say that.
Rocoto.
Ricotta.
You're
Hey,
That was
there you
close.
go.
Wow.
That was
I
good.
rolled that R on
You
cue.
got it.
So there are different variations to that, though. I guess it's not one recipe, and if you don't do it, they're taking you out to the back shed and putting you down
Well,
for
for
doing it
that
correctly.
for that dish specifically, there's only that one dish for that
Okay.
that one stuffed hot pepper. Yeah, that's just that one traditional dish that they have.
Because it seems, I mean, there's so many different staple foods that there's just a variety of mishmash recipes where it's like, yeah, you can add this to that. Like we were talking
Like everybody's
earlier.
grandmother will do it a little bit
Well,
differently.
the Thanksgiving, what were we just talking about? The stuffing, right?
Yeah.
So there's so many different recipes to do the stuffing.
People get like
nowadays,
very
people just
aggressive
go
about
crazy
stuff.
with it, which is great. I mean, that's how you make fusions.
very polarizing.
That's where
too.
that's where Lat-u-si came in with. That's why I did Peruvian Latin fusion because I take everything that I learned in all different restaurants and cuisines and just put it together and just start coming up with. Yeah,
You take the best of everything and you throw out the worst pieces,
exactly.
right?
What other restaurants have you worked at?
So I worked at Terry Lodge in Portchester. I was there
so
for
you probably
about
know
8
James.
years.
Yeah.
You know Chef James
Oh
Piccolo?
yeah, of course. Yeah,
He was
we
on the
worked
show last
together.
week.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. We worked together. Talented, very talented chef. I worked with Andy Nesser, which is also another talented chef from New York City, Sam Epps. And then also I've worked like at different country clubs and different mom and pop shops. And then I also worked in my grandmother's restaurant in Portchester also with my uncle, who was a Peruvian cuisine.
Which was the first space that you were in that you were more, I guess, seriously working on a commercial restaurant side? The first time that you said, oh shit, I'm doing this.
I would say Terry Lodge. Terry
was
Lodge
Terry
was
Lodge?
like that place where it was actually like a school for me. I learned a lot. I started from the bottom as a line cook, working pasta, worked my way up to chef de cuisine, and then something was missing. Like I love the Italian cuisine, but I just felt like I was ready for the next step. I was missing those aromas of like my grandmother's cooking. So I said, hey, I need to open up my own spot. I think that's where I figured that one out.
And you took it back to the roots. And
Take it back to the roots. Yeah.
James, in the last episode, was discussing, he did say he did pasta, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I learned that the pasta station is the hardest working station in all of the restaurant.
Tough.
Yeah, pasta
When you
station will whoop your ass.
You have a ticket with like 20, 22 pastas, and you need to be out in 6 minutes. Yeah, it's tough. Been there. Yeah, it's.
So
But it's awesome. I mean, if you have a passion for it, it's like nothing. You're just gonna bust it out quick.
So you learn a lot in Terry Lodge, and the learning that comes from there, I would think, is a lot operational.
Oh,
And
definitely.
the things that you're taking in, because they have it down to a science. What's up? Caffeine's hitting. You have it down. They have it down to a science, pretty much, where you're learning all of these different aspects of the whys things are done the way they are. Maybe health and safety standards throughout, and then you take those things and you apply them, of course, going forward to the next places that you go, which we see all the time happening. And how long were you in Terry Lodge?
About 8 years.
That's all. See, that's a
a long
long stint
time.
of learning.
I mean,
amount of time, yeah.
Yes.
I've never stayed at a place for so long, but I stayed there for that long because I loved the place. You know, the love was special. Everybody treated everybody equally, and just the learning part was just. It was just amazing. It was an amazing experience, I would say. I worked the line from pasta, saute, grill, isiolo, and then how to make fresh pasta. Like, it was everything. I did the whole thing. So it was, learned a little bit of everything.
Going through all of the different stations, was there like a preference that really just held you? And when you were off it, you were like, God, I kind of want to go back to that station.
Oh, pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah, pasta. As I know, it might sound crazy, you know, as busy as it was, because we were doing, like, on a Friday night, 300 to 400 covers. Think about it. Everybody's
That's a lot of
ordering
people.
a pasta.
Yep.
So
You're touching every table that
but
comes
I don't
in.
know. It was just the finesse of, you know, just boiling the pasta, you know, finishing in the pan, adding a little pasta water to the right consistency. So it was just, I don't know. It's just a science to it that I just had a passion for the pasta station. That was like my favorite, definitely.
And now 8 years being in there, the next step when you finally threw in the towel and you said, I'm not doing the pasta station anymore, it's over. What happened next? Where'd we go?
So after Terry Lodge, I ended up working at another restaurant. Don't want to give no names, but I worked at another Peruvian restaurant, and you know, I finessed. I also did like a lot of my specials and cuisines and stuff like that, and that's where I just said, you know what, it's time for me to open up my own.
And it's tough for somebody that's in this business for so long, that's contributing so much and working underneath somebody else where you don't really have ownership of the company. It's like, why should I continue doing this when I'm doing all this on my own anyway?
Yeah, you know, it was like, I don't know. I just felt like I wasn't being appreciated, so that pushed me more to open up my own spot. You know,
need that.
the goal was a restaurant, but I didn't have the funds for that. So that's where Lat-u-si, and I thought about a food truck. It's so crazy. I'll jump right into it if you would like.
I want to hold off.
wanna
We're
hold
gonna
off a
go.
little bit?
We're gonna go into
Let's
the
get
food truck.
everybody. All right.
I feel like the food truck's like a whole section in itself. You know, there's so much that you have to tackle going into that. But you say that, you know, you go into this other restaurant and you grew up having all this love for those spices and those flavors and, you know, these aromatics that you sensed or had as a kid. And you're not really doing any of that in Terry Lodge. That's not that type of spot.
No, well, I would do it for family meal.
Yeah, and you
So
get to flex. a little.
everybody, when they knew, oh, Fabian's cooking, nobody would order out. They'd be like, no, don't order. Fabian's cooking. So I would always showcase Peruvian cuisine.
That's funny.
So that was when my time to shine there. Also,
So
That's that's one of the things I miss because we don't do a family meal every night.
Yeah.
Everybody just puts an order whatever for the night of like whatever they want.
Yeah.
And they get it at the end of the night. But when I coming up, we used to have family meal at the
Yeah.
club or even at Outback when I was back there's family meal.
Family meal
It was-
in Manhattan is a big
It
deal.
was the
like-
best meal of
Yeah.
the
That's
day.
awesome.
And some of
Yeah.
the dudes would come out just like you said, where if they were Peruvian, they would make something that they're familiar with or
Yeah.
whatever, and you got to try so many different things that you never tried before.
Different cuisines, yeah. People just start coming up with whatever.
Yeah, and it was
When
awesome. I
you
would
were
look
doing
forward to
family
it.
meal at Terry Lodge, was it you by yourself who had to cook for the entire staff?
Yeah, we would cook for I don't know, maybe about 40 staff. Yeah, so we would cook trays of food.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be, I don't know, in between lunch and dinner. We get like a like a half-hour break.
And you'd have to like fit the family meal prep into your regular prep for the day also, right?
Yeah. But I already knew, so I would prepare myself the day before.
Yeah, you have to.
I'll know what's left or what we can use.
Yep.
Or sometimes we'll just order stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where I'll just.
They rotate it, right? It'd be like your job today, someone else tomorrow.
So I mean, I guess in his situation they rotated. At Manhattan, the night shift cooks always had to do family meal, like it was always our responsibility. So we would come in, ideally having prepped the night before for something. So like we'd leave some pork butts in the oven smoking all night. Then we'd still have to cook some like rice or a vegetable or something like that. But it'd have to be enough for like 80 people. You have 2.5 hours to do all your prep work, and you still have to get that shit
And
done.
then on top of that, yeah.
Fuck.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's hectic.
But it's satisfying.
But it's fun.
It's
Exactly.
satisfying.
Exactly.
You know,
Especially when you do something good and everybody enjoys it, and then they're all talking about it.
they're
for the rest of
raving
the night.
about it. You know,
Yep.
it feels good. That's what makes us chefs happy,
Exactly.
excited. Like seeing somebody, putting a smile on somebody's face. That's satisfying.
My day was barbecue day at Manhattan. Smoked pork butts, cornbread, collard greens.
I
Anytime
wonder
we
where
had
you got that from.
it. Yeah, I don't know.
As far as the family meal knows,
Yeah,
how long did it take you to smoke the pork butts?
overnight. We'd
You
put
said
it on
You
the
like
overnight.
you knew you were doing
Yeah.
family meal ahead, and you were like,
Yeah.
I got this.
I got this exactly. Then you'd have one person make the biscuits, somebody else would make the mac and cheese, somebody else would do the veg.
That's
it.
funny.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
So in taking then to the next step, you go into the next space, and you're able to apply, I guess, more so technique that you've learned through Terry Lodge,
Definitely.
and reapply it into your own preference of cuisine, which was Peruvian.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing that, going into the next place, you had a little bit more leeway too.
Oh,
Because
definitely.
you go in there being the man. I just
was
came
the
from
man,
Terry
yeah.
Lodge. What do you want to talk about? Let's
Exactly.
go. So in doing that too, you have kind of full menu control at that point?
Oh yeah, yeah. I had we did all different types of fusions. That's why I really started showcasing my food. You know, taking like I don't know, like braised items like brasato, brasato's like a braised short rib. I would braise it but with Peruvian spices.
Nice.
And instead of serving it with just regular mashed potato or polenta, I did like a truffle ají amarillo, which is a Peruvian pepper mashed potato. So I just started infuse. Just
Peruvian pepper mashed potato. So it's mashed peppers.
So
With
it's
potato?
what I do with the pepper. So the pepper, I'll puree it so it comes into, so it's like a paste. So you infuse that into the mashed potato, and I would throw like truffle peelings or truffle oil, and then I'll put a piece of braised beef on top. Stuff like that. Like I would just,
talking
I don't know,
sexy.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
things
sounds
just come
nice.
to my head. Yeah. So
But so the idea would be like Italian culinary techniques with the Peruvian flavors.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was a big hit. The restaurant the guy that I worked for, he was definitely looking for a chef. He reached out to me. I thought about it since I was missing the Peruvian cuisine. I said, why not? Let me take it to the next level. I went there. I helped him because the restaurant wasn't doing that great, and I just went there and blew that place up. That place was popping.
Sometimes too, though, when
It was.
That's a good
a
feeling.
lot of the guys out there that listen to this too, that are maybe owners of restaurants, maybe they have one single restaurant at the moment. After being there for so long, and just not reaching that point where you want to get to the second spot or the third spot, like you start getting burnt out.
Yeah.
So having somebody like you come in with fresh blood, where it's like, hey, let's go. Let's turn this place up a little bit. I got a fresh menu, some fresh ideas. Like that gets the owner excited at that point too.
Definitely.
And not only that, but like people see it. Instagram exists at
Oh,
this
yeah.
point. That was happening.
That's
Facebook
where that
was
blew
happening.
up. Yeah.
So as people are looking at all these things, they're saying, all right, what's this restaurant? Maybe I should go check that out.
Yeah.
I'm sure you contributed a handful to the business and new people coming in to check it out because it was things that they were salivating over when they were seeing you put these plates out.
Yeah.
And in doing such, you stayed at this space for how long?
About 2 years.
Okay. So you put time in, 2 years, you're learning some other things and maybe a little bit more involved in the ownership side too, where you're seeing a lot more than you would have at Terry Lodge,
Definitely.
handling all ordering and things like that. What's the toughest part of ordering food?
There really isn't nothing tough. I mean, you just got to make sure you get the cheapest price. I mean, you got to, negotiating.
Well, I
That's
guess
what I would
ordering.
say. I think the hardest part is keeping track because they switch stuff on. you.
Yeah,
You gotta-
like 1 week it'll be a certain price. The next week you're like, whoa, what happened? But you already received it, and you're like, oh shit, So food costs will go up or whatever.
It feels like they're constantly staying on the distributor or whoever. Just like,
You have
no,
to
no,
be on top of
This
it.
was
If you're
this.
not,
This was
then-
that. Yeah.
how is that even a thing? Like, how do we not have some type of system that just tracks the prices and just updates people for the things that they're ordering? You know?
I mean, they do. They cost money though.
Oh, those systems exist. They're just
Yeah.
cost.
Avero probably did that, right?
What?
Avero, once you put in the price. they would-
Avero does it. I mean, like we have Upserve, which was simple order, and it has like somewhat of a thing, like it could notify you if it goes over a certain price, but you still gotta
still have
catch
to
it.
watch it,
You know,
yeah.
like it come in on the invoice, and that's what it is.
Sure, and that's even though they'll notify you, your phone's probably got a million different things going in it anyway from all the other notifications. It just
That's in that Restaurant Man book that we were talking about.
I
the
tried to
Joe
listen to it
Did
the
you,
other
did
day.
you read the book, the
Nah.
Restaurant Man? There's the Joe
That's Joe
Bastianich.
Bastianich. You should have read that one.
Yeah, I didn't read it though.
So you should read it. It's a great book.
Nunes
I'm
was
telling
like, I'm gonna send you the book. It's free, and I go click the link, and it's like, sign up for 30 days. Just put your card in. And I was like, oh, I'm not falling for this shit.
well,
again.
that's Audible or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was
right?
Audible.
Yeah, it was. The book is free. But
yeah, I'll figure
anyway,
that out.
I recommend it. It's a good listen.
Yes.
I listened to it. I
listened to it multiple
It
times.
was.
It's a great
It
book.
was Joe reading the book, so it was like his whatever. But anyway, the point was in like the first chapter or whatever, he says the most important guy we have is the guy checking in your orders because he's your line of defense against the outside
Against
world
the
trying to take
upcharges.
advantage of you. So if
Yeah.
that guy, he goes, if that guy's in somebody's pocket, you're screwed. So you know, because the sales guy would like pay off the steward and be like, oh, you know, just take it, you know, whatever, something like that.
You got to read that book, Joe.
Oddly enough, not to pivot far, and I'm not gonna let this pivot far. I listened to the Kanye Joe Rogan the other day, and
That's a pivot.
no, there's one piece in there where he was like, I had to fire my CFO. I had so much
yeah.
cash flowing out for
He
no
didn't-
reason.
He wasn't paying attention to what
that
he
when I
was
started
doing.
looking at the cash outflows, I was saying like, why are we paying these guys?
He was
Why-
saying that there was one guy he fired 3 weeks ago who was still collecting money from him.
Yeah. And
Oh,
so I
that's
mean, like,
ridiculous.
yeah, you gotta keep some type of eye on what's flowing out. But my question is more so in buying and purchasing and how much goes to waste and how can you really manage the inventory that well. You know what you're doing now here on the food truck too. You expect to do XX amount per day, and at that point, do you wind up having waste often? And you know, what do you do with the waste? You can't just take it to a homeless shelter and be like, here, I want to feed you guys.
No, not really. We don't have waste. Everything that I make is a la carte, so it's stuff that we'll use.
And we're going to talk about that too, because
Yeah.
that's interesting enough. And we were discussing that a little bit earlier.
That's got to make your workflow actually day of on the truck a little bit more frustrating. You have
Yeah.
to do everything a la
Oh
carte.
yeah, definitely. That's why I have so many grays, but it's all right.
And after doing 2 years here,
I'll challenge you on that.
after doing 2 years in this other restaurant, was the next step the truck?
Oh yeah, it was happening while I was working there.
Well, that's how every idea is supposed
Yeah,
to be
so
happening.
maybe
right?
about a year and a half in, like I said, I didn't feel appreciated, so that strived me to like go get this food. So I saw an empty truck. It's an old JJ Casson, JJ Casson's, the
Yeah.
bakery. It's an old truck, and I saw it for sale. I went home. I told my wife. I said, "Hey, I just bought a truck." She's like, "What? Are you crazy?"
Didn't even tell her you were thinking about doing it.
Nope.
Man, that's bold.
She was, she went hysterical. She almost started crying, and I was like, "Listen, don't worry about it," because I ended up using the savings money that we had, and as a chef, you don't make a lot of money. You don't make ends meet. I have, at the time I had 3 kids, so it was tough. So then I just bought the truck, and then little by little, still working at this place, I was just building the truck little by little. So I was living paycheck by paycheck, just constructing the truck.
So you had some previous idea though before just buying the truck, where you saw the truck and you were just like, I'm gonna buy the truck and then work it all out afterwards.
Well, the movie Chef inspired me to do that. So
Great movie.
it's a great movie, and I don't know. I just saw it and I was like, wow, you know what? I'm gonna open up a food truck.
I told Mike, I said sometimes I want to do it just to take the trip across country. Like,
Yeah.
just pick it up and let's just go drive across country and see if
It looks so cool to do that,
Yeah.
but it's like you have to get a permit in every
every
town,
state,
every state, every town, every county. It's like, they're super strict. It's, it's very annoying on that part. I wish it could be like the movie and just
Just take a trip.
yeah, I would drive from here to Florida and just stop in every town
Yeah,
and just
just
sell
set
food.
up.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
It'd be beautiful.
When you were putting this truck together, before you pulled the trigger on it, my first question and fear for myself if I was buying a truck is, I see this truck for sale on the side of the road. It's clearly used. How much mileage does it have? How many problems are going to happen with this truck? I have to drive it to get to point A to point B. Do I know guys that are not going to kill me on the mechanic side when, I got to take it in and get it fixed? Like,
Yeah.
is this something that you go through with?
I didn't think about all that when I bought it. I really didn't. I wish I did,
do it.
but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I just pulled the trigger. I said, whatever happens, happens. I'm I was like, I just had faith in my food and my cuisine. So I said, I'm just going to pull the trigger, man.
That's a no parachute jump in my book.
And I bet you start learning a lot about how to fix this, how to fix the truck.
Because you have to at that point.
Yeah. Well, my dad's a mechanic, so
Okay.
he
So
helped
that
out a ton. Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a fail-safe there, and you had somebody to call and ask some questions
Oh, yeah,
about, which is totally something to need. I mean, how many guys are out there that were like, they saw the movie Chef, and they were like, I'm just going to buy a food truck, and then they were like, shit, I have to put so much money into this thing because the truck is terrible.
Yeah.
In leaving the space, right before you left, before opening the food truck, you probably had some Google documents of names and things that you wanted to call the truck, food items that you were going to put on the truck.
Yeah.
So there was some type of formula that you had before you just pulled the trigger on the truck. It wasn't full on just, I'm getting this truck, it's over.
Yeah.
But how long were you investing in the ideas of the food truck before you actually did just pull that trigger?
About a year. About a year before. I just, I was gathering. I would sketch. I would think of names. I would just jot down names. And then, I was just thinking one night, I wouldn't sleep at night thinking about the food truck. What's my concept? Peruvian food, right? But I love to do fusions. So that's how the name came about. Lat-u-si, it's Latin fusion, Lat-u-si. So that's how that name came about. I wanted to bring strong Peruvian, but with a fusion.
Correct. And now putting those things together, from what I understand, is that this food truck build-out's not just a regular type of build-out, kind of. You have some things that are a little bit more special because, as we just said, you're making everything a la carte.
Yeah.
So you have to have kind of prep space?
Yeah, the truck is huge. I think it's like a 24-footer, so it's pretty big. It's bigger than restaurants in the city, I'll tell you that much. But I have everything. I have a 6-burner. I have a griddle top. I have a deep fryer. I have, that 1-door reach-in fridge. Prep tables. So it's pretty big. It's and with the experience that I have, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that fast pace. Working at Terry Lodge was like a restaurant, a New York City restaurant.
You're like a
but just in
suicide
the
bomber.
suburbs.
You said you want to go back into the pasta cooking station after you graduated out of that hell.
So, but imagine having a line 1 block long, everybody ordering lomos, and I'm the only one making
You're the
that
only
lomo.
one on the line cooking it all.
By the way,
So-
he's not exaggerating about 1 block long.
I believe
Yeah,
it.
it gets crazy, man, and I'm blessed. I'm very thankful, and that hard work pays
How many
off.
covers do you think you do on an average day?
The weekends, I don't know, maybe like 150.
All by
180.
yourself.
But no, I have a team though.
Okay,
But I'm the one that makes the lomo. But
Yeah.
I have 3 other people. My wife that helps me. She's at the window. I have this lady that actually left with me from the other restaurant before I
Really?
opened
So
up
you're
the
poaching
truck.
employees when you go?
No.
He wasn't
I told
pushing.
her.
She felt unappreciated.
I told her I was leaving. She was like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "I'm opening up my own food truck." She was like, "No, I'm coming with you." So she left with me. So that was awesome. I mean,
It's like
I didn't want to take her.
Leguizamo's character on.
I didn't want to take her away from the restaurant because I'm not that type of guy to steal or whatever.
But it's a nice feeling when you know somebody believes in you and your product enough
Yeah,
to be like, I'm
and she
taking this trip with you.
appreciated like my work ethic and how I treated employees equally. She was a woman, and a lot of people were hard on her, but I always believed in her. So she wanted to come with me, and she's under my wing, and she's awesome. She's a rock star, man.
That's
Definitely.
awesome.
And you guys, and I know you guys work hard in that truck because we did the collab. We did the collab, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it, where you had the truck on the patio in New Rochelle.
Yeah.
Dude, it was crazy. I've never seen so many people in that parking lot, like all the way to the back wall, and
I didn't
all
even
day,
think.
like all night. It started and then it just didn't stop. I'm like,
I missed that one. I wasn't there for that.
I
But I've
think
been
it
to your truck
stopped
when you
when-
guys were parked at Harbor Island Park.
Okay. Yeah.
What was that? Can you go further in just with this collaboration that you did? I mean, it's a trend that we see happening more and more.
so we were doing, we had the patio in New Rochelle before we closed it, and we just, we had different truck once a month would come in just to change it up a little bit and have something new or whatever. And we had Lat-u-si in there once, right? Once or twice?
Like twice, I believe.
Once in the beginning and once at the end,
once
right?
at the end, yeah.
And what did we do? The waffle?
We did a chicken and waffle.
Yeah.
So you know how he has the chicken and waffles on the menu?
Yeah.
I ended up doing it pollada style. Pollada is like a deep fried chicken that's marinated with like Peruvian spices. we used his coleslaw.
That's right.
And then I did, we have this dish called picarones. They're Peruvian donuts with a homemade syrup. So that homemade syrup, I drizzled on top. Oh, it was just amazing. It was really good.
What type of spices did you use to marinate the chicken?
So ají panca, garlic, cumin, oregano. Put that all together and just let it marinate. We marinated for like 2 days. Phenomenal. It was a hit. After that, people kept wanting like that dish. But it's tough on a food truck, you know.
Yeah.
But it was after that day watching this dude work in the back of that truck.
Oh man! After people. Service, he was like, "Yo, do you want a beer?" I was like, "Yes, give me 2."
And you had to look at it, right? That's when I realized, and that was just what Jay was talking about, building out the truck.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you see a food truck is like a solid concept, it's like a burger truck or hot dogs or pizza or whatever.
You usually don't have like burners, a fryer, and a flat top.
This dude's menu is aggressive. Like he's got ceviche on there, and then you go on to you got a Cuban sandwich, and then. You
have to do a Cuban sandwich.
Empanadas and wings and the Romo fries and all this stuff.
I got too. I guess it was too ambitious. Like my menu is too big. Everybody's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know."
But you seem to be making it work.
Yeah, but
we made it work. We have a system. We're fast. We're quick. So there's a system behind it. Like you said, I learned from previous restaurants, especially Terry Lodge, of high volume. Mm-hmm. So I know how to, just how to move. That's it. It's like dancing back there, man.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly it is a dance.
Definitely.
And I just think that with there's a lot more food trucks showing up, more and more. And at some point it will make it harder, I think, to either bring all those crowds out, or you could look at this another way. And I think that goes to the mentality that a lot of us share here. There's no bad bones in your body, and it's very clear in that. And doing these collaborations with restaurants where they already serve food. Like Justin has a menu. He doesn't need to bring a food truck in to have a different party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's the cool extras that people do where they realize that there's enough for everybody to eat out there.
Of course.
And now the more food trucks that start showing up, I think the concern is that it's a supply and demand issue from a business standpoint. And what we're starting to see, at least out here in this Northeast area, is that there's a lot of these like food truck campgrounds showing up. And they just opened this one here in Elmsford. I haven't been there yet, so I can't really speak on it. 9A? Is that the name?
I know they're doing that summer. That's still open?
Yeah, it's called 9/8. Yeah.
Okay. And with that said, I guess the business model for the owner is we mortgage out a little piece of property and we kind of rent it out to the trucks. Mm-hmm. The trucks pay a little bit of a fee to be there. However, bodies bring bodies. It's the same as in the bar. That concept doesn't change whatsoever. Smorgasburg, right? Out in Brooklyn or, wherever it is. I think there's a few of them. Was a few of them.
Yeah.
But they had how many trucks come out there? There was like 15, 25 trucks, something like that. They pay a crazy fee to be out there, but it becomes a Disney World destination type space where people go, let's go get food. Yeah. I swear to God, I think, the cheapest item on each truck, knowing that I was going to go hit every truck. I wasn't looking for an entree. I was doing little appetizer pieces. Yeah. I probably spent $100 to my face just off the trucks alone. So, I don't think there's much to fear when you want to talk about more trucks starting to show up. Obviously, you have something that many trucks don't have, and that's having a Peruvian cuisine on your truck, or fusion, if you will. And do you prefer to kind of be set up in one single space, or are you opposed to kind of going into these type of campground areas where you do have to pay some type of fee to go into them and hope enough people show up?
Yeah, for me, I like to go to my spot, my Lions Park, where I'm at. I've been to 9A Eats. We did a pop-up one time, and it was crazy. It was really, really busy. We had the line for the 4 hours. I sold out. I had to stop selling food. I didn't have enough food.
Nice.
Which was great.
Yeah. Those are good problems.
Yeah, definitely. But I just feel like I don't have to go to other places. I love doing festivals and stuff like that, but now with this whole COVID, everything, canceled on us. But usually people come to us. I mean, I have people coming from Jersey, Queens, Brooklyn, New York City to Portchester. Like, I'm bringing people from all over the place, and they're coming to Portchester just to eat my food truck, which is amazing.
It's an awesome feeling.
It's an awesome feeling because I always tell my wife, engage conversation and ask, how did you hear about us, or where are you coming from? And I get a lot of people from different places, yeah. Jersey. I can't believe people are coming from Jersey. I really can't. But that's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's a trek and a half too. And
Yeah.
you know, we've had this conversation lightly. We haven't really delved into the food trucks too heavily, but you know, we talked to Kat at Walters about the food truck a little bit. We talked to David DeBarry about the food truck a little bit. And everyone seems to say that it's all about the event-driven sales that come that are, you know, that's the easy money at the end of the day. You show up to the event, you're catering to however many people, you know exactly how many people are going to be there. Everyone's already kind of just paid up in full. You're just supplying everything at that point. And now, you know, your perspective here is saying that you love just rolling up and talking to the people. They're coming out to see you from all over the place. Like, would you even trade that for a moment to do more event caterings? You know, there's a line where you get tied up. You can't do an event catering on Friday night, but also show up with the truck. You're one person in one truck.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, I would like to do both. I mean, so you know, I like to stay at my location, but at the same time, if there is an event, I'll close my location. I'll just say, hey, I'm going to be here tonight, and people follow, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'll get the crowd of that event, or you know, whoever did the flyer, and then my regular customers will come also.
And that,
Right, so you don't
that helps.
necessarily have to lose one to do the other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
When you talk about,
That's the flexibility you don't have in a regular restaurant. Someone rents out the restaurant. That's it. You rent out the restaurant.
well, if you're renting out the restaurant also, you're paying a premium to rent out the
Well, yeah.
restaurant, right? I mean, we did in Whiskey Creek, we did the first bullet bar competition in there. They rented the whole restaurant out on Monday night, and they paid us the premium for whatever our sales would have been on top of the premium to have the event there as it was. So, like, those are things that you bake into price, I think, no?
Yeah.
Would you give
I mean-
somebody the restaurant entirely, book it out at not
It's-
really that much more
I mean,
of a
our
premium
store is not economical.
to do that?
How much
like,
would
I
how much
don't-
would somebody have to pay you even if they want to do that?
Depending on the day, but like 10 grand.
And really, though, you're making up, if you're doing a catering or a per person price package, you're including booze in there for the most
Right,
part.
right.
And that's really where
My
you're making
whole
your money
thing is
back.
not so much the being able to do the, not to get too much off the topic, but being able to do the event. Is I don't like the idea of closing to your guests that just are there every day. You know, because it's kind of like you
Kind of
can,
a slap
you
in
can,
the face.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
post on your Instagram or whatever saying we're closed for a private event. You know, I mean, you got to do it sometimes. I mean, I get it. I'll do it if it makes sense. You got to do it, but you know,
Some
I
people
don't
get
love the
upset.
idea
Yeah, they
because
get
the
upset.
guest comes out, they didn't see the post wherever, and they're all excited to come out to eat, and you're like, no, I'm sorry, it's a private event, and that I don't like that interaction with the guest.
Yeah.
Me either. I get that a lot too. If I close for a private event, for a private party or something, which is well worth it, I'll
Yeah.
do it. They get upset. They'll go, "Oh, I didn't see it." I was like, "I posted it. Sorry."
Yeah.
I
You
was
know.
just going to say, with the ever-changing algorithms of Instagram, it's so constant where I do see companies make these posts, and you look at when it was posted, and it was like 2 days ago, and I was like, cool, that's useless.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, you can't expect somebody to see what's being posted unless they have, like, some type of updater. As far as, like, promotions go and things you're doing to the truck to get out to the people and find more people, you're utilizing Instagram, obviously. We see that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going steps further and trying to get emails or phone numbers from people and starting some type of document list so that way in the future, say 3 years from now, you have a list that you could blast out to 5,000 people at once from every single person that's ever come to the truck, just so you could say, hey, we're doing a pop-up here. Hey, we're doing this. And you've built an army behind you that, you know, you have access to.
Yeah.
Because Instagram is only so good as an access point until they figure out how to further monetize it and bury you. In my opinion, I think the moment that you hit that you're a business on Instagram is the moment that they put a target on your head and they want to have you pay for
magical
promoted
10,000
posts.
followers ever.
No, that's for sure. As soon as you switch to business, they tone down how far your reach goes.
Because they want you to hit the
Yeah.
boost post, $10, $3. It's such a small amount, but think about how many people are using Instagram out there that use it as a lifeline to get in contact with their clients. And people are forgetting that the old ways work. I just had a conversation with a gentleman behind the bar. It was his second month bartending or so, and he was a teacher, and he was looking to do more tutoring. That's the word I was looking for. It was really hard to get off the tip of my tongue. He was looking to do more tutoring, and he was just like, I don't know, how do I get to the kids out there? How do I get to the parents? How do I get to the people? And you, what?
South
I-
Park reference. How do I reach these kids?
Oh, I didn't know.
Forget it.
But but you have all these apps that get you in touch with the community, but they only work so well because they all have their own agenda, and that's to make money at the end of the day. So nobody's just giving you free access to, every single person in this building. Yeah. This building that we're sitting in right now, they actually have one of the pizza trucks come out every single Tuesday. You go order from the app, you go downstairs, you get pizza for free. It's built into the price.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, that's an access point for food trucks where you go, hey, let me get in touch with these building owners and say, how do I come and show up to your spot? You'll pay me whatever the flat fee is for however many guests you think are going to be ordering pizza. And then you show up downstairs, you get the pie, and then you get your word out there even further. And, I would think you want to get these email addresses and be able to blast these
Doesn't
people.
sound like a bad idea.
Definitely a great idea.
I'm just motivating my marketing mind, sorry. But in doing that in the long run, obviously you'll have a chamber loaded and just ready to shoot whenever you need it. Mm-hmm. And that's as easy as I know Justin was telling me that people can order online for you ahead of time and kind of call their order in.
No, I used to do the order ahead, but I stopped doing that. You just have to come to the truck for now.
Is it just too crazy?
It just got too crazy. I would have to hire one person to just answer the phone.
Yeah.
It was just getting too crazy, overwhelming. So if you think about it, let's say I have 10 tickets of just pre-orders, and then I have a whole line outside. So now people are waiting double the wait time, and then the people that are coming to pick up their food, they're waiting. So it just got too crazy. So now I just set it like just come to the truck, order at the window, and it is a faster process.
I love that problem.
Yeah.
I like nothing. That's
it's a great problem.
That's a wet dream to me. I had to shut down the order ahead because shit got so crazy that we couldn't keep up with the flow.
Yeah, it was just too much.
And in the evolution of these problems, and in the evolution, I feel like of the truck's growth, because that's all that happens when you develop something, you keep it current, you keep building on it. It's like the question is, do you instill that again, then get some little small ass area in the corner of a town where people could just pick up directly? You want to get the brains feeling. I think if we go into a real estate crash with this whole COVID thing and the prices keep going lower and guys go out of business, cheap rent comes up.
Are you thinking about a storefront anytime soon?
I did think about it before the COVID. Mm-hmm. Was looking, because I did want a brick and mortar, but then COVID hit, and that just changed my whole train of thought. Because, see what's going on. It's tough, man. It's very sad. But we're working on a second truck now. So we're building another truck, a different cuisine. It's Ecuadorian cuisine.
You're just cornering the market.
Yeah. So we're
exactly that.
My wife's mother, she's a great chef. She cooks Ecuadorian food really, really good. I've tried it all over the place. I even had it in Ecuador. There's these trucks in Queens that I go to, and they're not as good as her food. I was there yesterday, actually. I was like, let's go, check it out, try the food.
See what the competition is going to be like.
There's no comparison. So I'm investing in her mom.
Awesome.
So
Nice.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good story too. And again, circling back to strength in numbers, you set those trucks up next to each other, you're going to have lines at both trucks.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's probably
bring
the plan,
more masses coming to it too.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to follow them, it's called Galapagos Food Truck.
Galapagos Food Truck. We'll put that in the show notes also.
Definitely.
How soon do you think it'll be open?
Spring. We're shooting for May because they have to, we have to go through the health inspection and all that. So once that's done, we're ready to go. Truck is being constructed now, and should be ready. 2 months. Get it wrapped.
I'm a guy.
I just followed it.
Nice.
Galapagos Food Truck. Thank you. Yeah, you'll see. We're already. So her mom's bringing food. She's cooking, and then I'm plating nice. As if you see the dishes, I'm plating them really nice. So I'm not gonna have too much involved of the cooking part, but I'm gonna be the one coming up with fusion. So because I want to keep that truck authentic,
right.
Ecuadorian food, because there's not too much you can do. But I'm gonna come up with specials here and there though. I'm gonna come up with a fusion. So now I'm gonna do Ecuadorian, Peruvian, or I'm gonna come up with something. I have some under my sleeve.
In case you're wondering, it's Ecuadorian. Just so you know. I'm a dude that's terrible with paperwork, and I blatantly and will always admit it. I'm so disorganized, but also organized that I have a stack of paper, yay tall, and I know where the papers are in there. I can find that stack.
If I didn't have my wife, I don't know where all my stuff is.
Does she handle?
Babe, where's this at?
Does she handle the permitting processes and things like that? Or
no, I do.
You have that down, because to me, that's my biggest fear.
Yeah, I mean, I get nervous every year. even though I know my truck is in spick and span shape and everything is the way it's supposed to be, I still get nervous.
And that's for nervous over,
just like, what's
you're saying
wrong
the
with
health
you?
side inspection of things
Yeah,
or
I don't know
whatnot,
why.
right?
It's just I just always got I don't know, I get nervous.
But the park that you show up to, or your space that you show up to consistently, you have to have a permit for that space as well, though.
Oh,
No?
of course, you got to have the Westchester County Health sticker, right? To sell food, to have permission to sell food in Westchester. And then you got to have whatever town that you're in, you got to have a permit.
So
How
that
many towns do you have permits for altogether?
No, just Portchester.
Oh, just
I'm just in Portchester. I'm born and raised here, so I figured why not stay in my hometown? And, you know, I know a lot of people, so.
Yeah.
how's that permitting process? What do you actually do to go get that done? Are you going physically into the,
Yeah, you got to go to the town hall and then bring all the paperwork that they asked for.
which I'm sure is miles
Oh,
long?
it's a lot of stuff that they ask for. It's tough, yeah. It's
It's like
Do they
going
have
to
the
the DMV.
option?
Portchester's not easy,
Do
but
they have the option to
I love
say
my
no,
people.
even if you bring in all the paperwork, or is it like just get this done and you got a permit?
no. I think if you just bring
If you
all the
do it,
right
yeah.
documents, you'll be fine. They may take a little long.
Interestingly enough, you know, you just triggered it when you said Portchester. Portchester now currently is at this time period is what, an orange zone now or something.
Yeah.
McShane's has shut the bar for the next few weeks or
Really?
2 weeks or so. They're not opening up. Keep in mind they're a late night spot also though. So
Yeah.
does it make any sense for them if they have to close at 10 o'clock? I'm sure Sam's, which is another local bar in that area, is probably doing the same thing. Do you have more things that you have to adhere to now being in this quote unquote orange zone? Do they have problems with people waiting in these lines that are a mile long or?
No, because we tell everybody we have our signs up, you know, stand 6 feet apart. And if people are waiting, once they order and they're waiting, we tell them, can you just wait in your car? Just so there isn't a crowd. We try to avoid that as much as possible. But, you know, there's only so much we can control, but we enforce it though. You know, when they come to the window, you know, can you please just wait in your car or, you know, just stay separate a little bit. But that's it.
I did actually go to the New Haven, one of those New Haven pizza spots that are well known. And interestingly enough, we walked in and it was the 6 foot deal, of course. And you place your order with the hostess at the stand. She put the order in and then she told me exactly where to park. So I parked the car in some specific space. They bring the pizza right out to the space. It's all paid for. They just leave it on the hood. You come get it afterwards. So that was kind of interesting to see as well. And, you know, when you talk about business and you're looking to smooth things out and make things run as efficiently as possible, and that's, of course, so you could grow further in the future and deal with bigger crowds, you know, you look to figure out where you could shave seconds off repeatedly throughout your day to make things easier for everybody. Just your pickup window gets pretty busy.
Yes, it does.
A lot. Okay, cool. And people just walk up, they get their food, they're out.
He's like, yeah, so we sell food.
I had to answer that way.
I know, he wanted to hit that.
I was like, I had to. I mean, yeah, it's kind of the same idea. You know, we didn't design that garage window for that, but it worked out. So in the front of the door. But the problem is, you got other restaurants next to you. You got all the lines kind of commingling. It's, you know, people get all tangled up.
And your
Yeah,
problem
there's
is
only
you,
so much you can do.
Right.
I mean, you know.
Right. And we do the same thing. Take a phone number and we'll say, we'll call you when it's ready. Because our ticket times are a little bit longer, too.
little bit longer.
You know, like if we're busy on a Friday, Saturday night, it's going to take 25, 30 minutes to make 10 dinners, you know, or whatever.
Yeah, it takes
So we can tell them this is going to be half an hour. And then they stand in front of the window.
and staring at you.
well, it doesn't help.
coming.
It doesn't help either that your restaurant is literally right next to one of the most popular pizza spots in the area as well.
Yeah, their line gets crazy.
Their line is
I'm
definitely
sure.
crazy. You know, you're talking about low cost in and out, feed the family. You're feeding the masses right there.
Yeah.
But Justin, you have the system set up with mobile bites that'll text you when your food's
Yeah,
ready.
we try to get as many people to order ahead
Yeah.
on either online or call in, and then we can text them from our
The POS.
from the POS, and your order's ready, and then they can come up to the window.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
The first time I got that text message, I was like, "Damn, Smokehouse, you fancy."
It's fancy.
I mean, I'm pretty old school too. Like everybody keeps telling me, get the app, get the app.
Yeah.
I'm just old school, man. Just come up to the truck.
Just
order
tell me
your
what you
food.
want, I'll make you your
exactly.
food.
I'll
Yeah.
make it for you, and that's it. You know. But that's something to think about. The app. I thought about it,
Yeah.
but let's see what happens. I mean, we don't know what the future holds for us with this whole pandemic, and hopefully things get better. You know, I really feel bad for restaurants that are going down. It hurts me. It really hurts. It's like,
It's a rough situation.
yeah.
Are you Are you a drinker at all?
A drinker? Yeah.
You have some drinks.
Yeah, of course.
There's an argument out there about the whole pisco being whether it's Peruvian or
Or
Chilean.
Chileno. It's Peruvian, man. That's it, hands down.
Oddly enough, they're not allowed to label on the bottles any indication of where it's from. They can't label which country it is
Really?
to aid in that argument at all, or to, I guess, stifle the argument in a certain direction, which is odd enough.
That is odd.
Years ago, I was working in a college bar, and I knew nothing about cocktails, really. I was just slinging beers and
Whatever,
making
yeah.
Jack and Cokes and vodka sodas for the girls. And,
Just to clarify, he still doesn't know anything.
yeah. So
He
with
still
that
thinks
said,
he can make a good cocktail with blue cheese and scotch.
with that said, the girl came in, she said, I want a pisco sour. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because she saw the bottle behind my head. I don't know why we even had it in that bar. The reps must have been like, here, take this bottle.
you'll
'cause,
sell it.
Yeah, you bought 6 of something else.
Yeah.
So sure enough, she was like, grab an egg. And I was like, look around where we are. I don't have an egg available. I had to go downstairs to the kitchen. I had to go into the actual fridge, pull out an egg, came back up. She had really sharp nails. She stabbed the top of it, cracked a hole in it. That way the egg
whites
yolk
come out?
wouldn't
Yeah.
come out, but the whites would, correct? She had
She
me
was
making
like,
this
she was like a
drink.
pro. She
Yeah, that was a
it's
pro
like-
move.
No, man.
There's never been a better moment where a girl taught me something in my life where I was just like, all right, you got this going. Is this a drink that you drink, the pisco sour?
Not a big fan, honestly, but it's good, though. It's a good drink.
What's your go-to?
Yeah.
I like beer. I'm an IPA guy.
Okay.
But if not, I mean, I drink whatever's available. I mean, really, I'm not really picky. But
It's,
I'm a beer
it's
guy.
liquid, I'm drinking it.
Yeah. I'm not really that picky. But the pisco sour, it's a good drink. That's more like a girly drink. Girls really like that. Maybe that's why that girl came in there and
I'm so
got
glad I didn't
aggressive.
start this
Where's the
off.
pisco sour?
So glad I didn't start this off with pisco sour is my favorite drink.
Yep.
What's the future going to hold here now with the truck going forward? We have wintertime coming.
I mean, I've been open about 2 years and a half. I open in the winter, and we're pretty busy. It's not as busy as the spring, summer, but we get through. And like I said, we make good money in the spring, summer, so we can save for those cold, rainy days. But yeah, we're pretty busy. I like to, during the winter, I make soups and stews.
Nice.
So that kind of pulls that other crowd also.
If you have a place in the wintertime in the Northeast, you have to make soups in your
have
restaurant
to.
or you're
It's
not getting people
cold,
coming to
yeah.
it. Correct.
Exactly.
I fully agree.
Is there a Peruvian twist on clam chowder coming this winter?
Well, we do. It's called chupe de camarón.
Okay.
But I never did like a clam.
So that's a shrimp one.
But there's a shrimp one. Yeah, it's a shrimp chowder that we make.
What do you put in it?
So that has it has cream. Either you could do all seafood or just shrimps, and it has an herb called wakatai. It's very, very pungent. It's a really good flavor that it gives to it.
What can you compare it to?
Maybe mint, like cilantro mint got married, maybe, or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
But wakatai, if you
Wakatai.
Google it, maybe you'll get more info. I'm not
Yeah.
the best to describe it, but it's a very good flavor that it gives.
Interesting.
And ají panca, like I said, that smoky flavor is the base of most of the cooking. That pepper, that puree, like that.
I definitely have to come by and get some chowder this winter.
Oh, definitely. People keep asking, but I was like, wait till it gets a little colder. It's getting there. It's getting there.
Are you utilizing at all the Uber Eats to aid in sales at this point? Is that something you even want to try going into the winter where it does slow down?
No, because I know because they're charging a little extra for that. They want I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews about 30% or whatever it is. So obviously you got to raise your prices.
Yep.
People don't like that, but like I said, I'm too busy to have another. If I have Uber Eats, I'm done. I'll drown. I'll drown back there. So I wouldn't. That's why I wouldn't do it. It's a great idea. If I have a restaurant, oh man, I'll have them all. I'll have the app, Uber Eats,
No, don't.
whatever.
Justin is staunchly
Yeah.
against
Very-
that.
Staunchly, yeah. We're
Delivery,
trying to,
but
we're trying to get rid of the apps. Get them out. Get them out.
I
don't
guess
know.
keep it easy. Like I said, I'm old school. Come to the truck, pick up your, order your food, pick up your food, and enjoy. That's it.
Circling back to what I said like 25 minutes ago about the kid that was looking to tutor more, you just triggered it when you said I'm old school.
Yeah.
And that also was hand in hand with what we were just talking about, Instagram not really propelling you forward, is that sometimes the old school stuff works the best. And I told him, I said, did you post some flyers in Starbucks? You talk to the manager, they'll let you put something right on the wall. And he was like, man, I didn't even think about that. Because we're so trained to just think that the only way that we could talk to people is through social media at this point, which isn't really true at all, because you got that whole other percentage of people that have no idea how to work a computer. They've got money in their back pocket and they want to spend it as well.
Yeah.
Where could they find you?
So we're at Lions Park Wednesday through Friday, 12 to 4, and then Saturday, Sunday, 1 to 5.
Give them the website so these guys could check out what you're doing out there.
Definitely. It's lat-u-si.com. If not, you can go on Instagram, Lat-u-si Food Truck also. Same thing for Facebook. I really work with Instagram a lot because you're going to see all my pictures of my food. On the
very
website.
nice looking pictures, dude.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Colorful. Yeah, I try to make it colorful. Just do whatever you can do. Just you eat with your eyes. So when you see those colors and you see those videos, you're like,
Just
wow,
like, what the fuck is that?
what is
And
that?
you're like,
I want to try it. Yeah. So
That's exactly how I feel.
you could reach out to us. I mean, we cater. We can bring the truck to your house. Holidays are coming, so ask us. Got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Fabian Marquez.
Guys, if you enjoyed that interview, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button because, algorithms.